Hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. So today we're going to be testing some new or new-ish makeup releases. Some of them have been released this year, some of them are releases from like late 2022. There are 4 products I'd like to test, so I'm just going to show you these, and obviously if you're interested in only one of those, I'm going to leave timestamps in the description box below, so you can just go directly to what interests you the most. So we're going to be testing 2 Charlotte Tilbury products. So one of them is Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer, so there's that. And the other product is this Glow Glide Face Architect Highlighter. And I have the Pillow Talk Glow. So this is the shade I picked up. We'll also be testing this Benefit Fluff Up Brow Wax, Flexible Brow Texturizing Wax. So there's that. And then lastly, we're going to obviously test an eyeshadow palette, and this is the Mcgrath Labs Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana. So this is her Christmas 2022 release. So obviously it only makes sense to start with the concealer. So the one I picked up is in shade 5 medium. So this is like 2 shades lighter than my skin tone. I do prefer my concealer to be lighter. This is just a personal preference. Your concealer should be like 1 to 2 tones lighter than your skin tone. As I said, my preference is the lighter of these 2. So I'm going to apply this concealer under my eyes. Obviously, I'm just going to apply this on my eyelids as a primer. And you know, to the other parts of my face when I feel like some highlighting is needed. I don't really do contouring on a daily basis. This is just something I do for like, you know, when I need a little bit heavier makeup or when I'm filming, but obviously now I'm going to test it like every way possible. So I'm just going to start under my eyes, and today as you can see, my redness on my cheeks is not as prominent, but I'm still going to drag it a little bit like lower. I'm not necessarily using that much more product. I'm just kind of like dragging it out a little bit so that I can cover this potential redness area. Also, creating this kind of like a longer triangle shape helps with like lifting your face a little bit. So I'm just going to blend it in. So it definitely has a really nice coverage. It blends quite nicely with my skin already. I don't need that much product, just a little bit goes a long way, so I like it so far. We're going to see how this formula is going to kind of like stay, and is it going to crease. I'm just going to apply some on my eyelid now. The fact that it has like a really nice coverage also helps. So yeah, I'm going to apply a little bit, and then obviously we need to set it with a powder. So I'm just making sure there are no creases. I mean, it didn't really crease yet, so that's good. And I'm just like setting slightly. By the way, I do prefer to set my concealer with a brush. I try to do it with like a puff, but it doesn't really work for me. I think maybe if you have like oily skin, that kind of makes more sense because you pack more of that setting powder in there. For me, it just kind of makes my whole makeup look very kind of like dry and cakey, and that's not the look I want to go for. So yeah, the brush actually works much better for me. So let me repeat the same thing on the other side of my face. Okay, so I did the same thing on the other side of my face. Now I'm just going to try and do some kind of contouring with my highlighter. So I'm going to apply a little bit here. I'm going to apply a little bit on my nose. I think I just applied too much already, but that's fine. I'm just going to blend it out. A little bit here, just to kind of like neutralize those kind of darker shades on my face. And let's just blend it out and see. Okay, so my thoughts so far. It has a really good coverage. A little goes a long way, so that is good. But at the same time, this concealer is quite thick, or it seems quite thick on my skin. It does feel like it's going to slightly crease here on my under eye area. I do have dry skin, so that's also like one thing I have to consider. I do prefer my concealers to be a little bit more lightweight, and then they kind of look a little bit more natural. So even though I never skip my skincare before doing my makeup, this concealer seems slightly drying here in this area under my eyes. I can see it's creasing slightly. It is quite thick, and I think for my dry skin, I generally prefer more lightweight, more skin-like concealers. And I kind of thought, you know, the Beautiful Skin concealer will be a little bit like that, but it seems a little bit thicker. on the thicker side. So yeah, I mean, to me so far this is a really nice kind of contouring concealer, whereas I mean maybe I will just use something else under my eyes. It does sit nicely on my eyelids though. It doesn't really seem like excessively drying or anything. It's just under my eyes. This is the only area that I'll probably prefer this to look a little bit better. It's slightly creasing, but all in all I do think it's a nice concealer, especially if you need some more coverage. I think I'm just going to try and reapply my moisturizer under my eyes before doing this concealer next time, and we'll see how that will go. So the palette we're going to be testing today is the newest Christmas palette from Pat McGrath. This is the Celestial Nirvana. So let me just quickly show you her two previous releases. So this is the Christmas palette from 2020. This is Celestial Divinity. These are the best value palettes you can get from Pat McGrath, by the way. So look how many shades you get, and the price is so much lower than like her usual like £10 Mothership palettes. These are like, I don't know, £60, something like that. But this is the 2020 release. Then we have the 2021 one, which is Celestial Odyssey, and this one is probably my favorite. Really like the shades here. And then we have our newest release, which is Celestial Nirvana, and let me show you how it looks. And these are the shades. So I'm going to start with the swatches, and then I'm going to create a look with this palette, and I'm thinking something purple. Yeah, I think it's going to be purple, but we'll see, okay? Swatches might change my mind completely, who knows? So let's see. I need to be quite precise because there are quite a few shadows in here, and I don't really, my arm is not that long, so let's see. So the first one is Nightfall. Look at these swatches. I mean, they are impressive, aren't they? Cosmic Champagne is the other one. There you go. Next up we have a Nocturnal Navy. Like, wow, that's crazy, isn't it? And then we have Lunar Lavender over here. So these are the first four swatches. I know that these two shades might seem slightly patchy here, but that's just not flat surface, so that's probably the reason. But obviously we'll just continue testing. So okay, let's continue. We have Auburn Allure. Then we have Golden Angelica. Next up is Bronze Infatuation. And then the last here is Desert Divinity. Eternal Amour. Next one is Fabulosity. Heavenly Bronze. And then the last one here is Flame Fatale. How long these swatches drag. That is actually crazy, isn't it? Next up is Altered State. Then we have Guilty Opulence. This one over here. Then a Violet Vixen. This one didn't swatch that, so let's swatch that well, did it? And then we have Aquarian Dream. There you go. Well, that's actually interesting. This one swatched even worse. So that's quite surprising because pretty much all of the shades swatched amazingly, and then these two, not that great. Okay, we have two more. So we have this Venetian Peony, which is over here. And then the last one is Starlit Copper. There you go. So these are all the swatches, and that is quite impressive, I have to say. This blue one here, I'm not really sure what happened, because the purple one is slightly patchy, but it kind of like, that seemed pigmented. I don't know what happened with the blue one, because this is literally the only kind of like a short swatch. Everything else is just like crazy. Like, look at the green one here. Like, it just doesn't end, you know? You have a lot of pigmentation in these shades, and that's why I'm always a bit like stressed when I work with Pat McGrath eyeshadows. I don't think they are like super easy to work with, especially if you have like lighter skin tones. There is a lot of pigmentation and this kind of like burst of color, so you kind of have to know how to work with that. If you just go too heavy-handed, it might be difficult to salvage. So I'm just going to try and create a look on one of my eyes off camera, and then I'll be back with you to recreate it on the other eye. So this is the look I decided to go for. As you can see, it's very colorful, but I decided to try as many shades as possible. I wanted to see how they work with each other, how they blend. So that's why we are going to have this colorful look today. So let me just try and recreate this on my other eye. And just to let you know, there was some fallout, so it's probably going to be best to do your eyes first and then the rest of your makeup. I mean, I pretty much almost do my face first, and then I have to just kind of clean you know, and just kind of get rid of the fallout or whatever it is on my face. Okay, so I'm going to start with this blush over here. By the way, some of you ask me like what brushes I use, and to be honest, my brush collection is a mess. I just don't really, like half of them I have no idea what that is. This one is Spectrum, I think I have no idea. It's just like literally it's gone BO2 or BO7, I'm not sure. But it's just that kind of like a shape, but like domed shape, quite fluffy as well. And I'm going to start with this shade over here. Let me just show like that. This shade over here, which is this kind of like a orangey red, and I'm going to apply this one in the kind of inner part of my eyelid. And look how pigmented this is. I just like literally touched it, and it just gives you like a lot of color straight away. Then I'm going to use the same brush, and just to let you know, it's probably best if you have like more brushes with you for like different colors, but if you don't, then you just have to clean them in between, right? So the next one I'll be using is this one over here, this kind of like a purpley shade, and I'm going to apply this one on the outer part of my eyelid. So I'm applying it here, and this will blend nicely with this red over here. They are next to each other. These colors are next to each other in the color wheel, so that makes things so much easier. Obviously, we don't really have to worry. See, it kind of blends really nicely here. So I'm just going to drag this purplish shade here in my crease a little bit, just to make it more cohesive. Then I'm going to take this, this is tapered blending brush from La Rousse, I think is the brand. It's a little bit fluffier, and I'm going to use this pink shade over here, and I'm going to use it just to blend the kind of, this line over here, just to kind of make it more blended with my skin, this purple. So that's going to look more natural and more kind of blended. So next up, I'll be using the smaller, dense brush. I'm sorry guys, I have no idea what that is. It's just like a smaller, kind of like a dense, precise brush. I do really need to sort my brushes collection. There are so many I need to get rid of, because I think that the longer you work with your makeup, you kind of figure out which brushes you use and which are like completely unnecessary in your collection. And everybody's a little bit different. Like everybody uses something different. Some things might work for one person and not work for the other completely. So obviously I just need to sort it out and kind of like adjust it to my preferences. So anyway, dense kind of precise brush, and then I'm going to use this darker purple over here. I'm going to build this color on my outer corner a little bit more. You can probably see how pigmented these shades are, so that's what I'm saying. You just really have to be quite light-handed with this. You can always build this up, but if you just apply too much shade, it might be difficult to kind of like work with it. It's not always, I mean, sometimes you just really want this kind of pop of color, and that's fine, but sometimes you just kind of want to have this like a very light kind of smudge, and then it will just turn out to be like super heavy. So all in all, I don't really think Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes are great for like complete beginners. I think you just need to have some experience with color to be able to enjoy them like properly. Okay, next step, this navy blue over here. I'm going to apply this on my lower lash line, on my outer part of my lower lash line. So just here, see, it's very pigmented, so a little bit here. And again, this color is next to purple on the color wheel, so I can actually blend it with whatever we have here. So I'm just going to drag it up here and kind of like follow my upper lash line as well with this a little bit, and kind of like make it slightly thicker on this outer part. So we're just doing like a slight, almost like a wing here with it. So now I'm going to take my blending brush. I'm just going to blend this part over here a little bit. And then obviously we're blending this blue into the purple here. So I feel like I need to build that red and purple a little bit more, so I'm just going to use a little bit more of that red here and just add it here. And the same thing I'm going to do with the purple, just on the outer part of my eyelid. And obviously I can just blend them together slightly here in the middle so that they kind of create this kind of cohesive composition. So I don't know if you can see that, but there is some fallout here. It's not crazy, but it doesn't really look like particularly clean. So definitely I'll need to clean it out after I finish. So I'm going to continue with my lower lash line. So what I'm going to add here is a little bit of this kind of bluish, sparkly, like frosty shade. I kind of wanted to add a little bit just to see how it works, and actually really like the look of it. So I'm just going to apply this here in the middle of my lower lash line, and then kind of blend it in with the navy blue on the outer part. And then I'm going to finish my lower lash line with this one over here, the kind of like a bronzy sparkly shade. This one is actually really beautiful. I really love how blue, like navy blue and gold work together, so that's why I kind of wanted to try it out. Yeah, this bronze one is very beautiful. By the way, like normally when trying to create like a very colorful makeup, I will probably just not really do that many like sparkly shades, but I kind of really want to try as many of them as possible. So obviously we're just going to add more sparkle to that. I'm going to add this one over here, and I'm using very kind of like precise brush this time. Again, this one is by Boho Beauty, I think, and this is, oh actually this is 207 Luxe Pencil apparently, so there you go. And I'm going to use this kind of like a pinkish shade in my inner corner. So I'm just applying this like literally my inner corner, slightly blended towards the other shades here. So you can easily blend it with these kind of like with your top lid kind of shades over here. But on my lower lash line, I literally just blend it slightly in my corner, and I don't really blend it with this kind of bronzy gold shade. Okay, so there's that. And now I'm going to apply this shade over here. Again, same brush. I'm going to apply this one over here on my brow bone. I think that one is definitely not necessary, but again, let's try this out. And this, as you can see, is like a very frosty shade. It does give you like a very nice highlight. I don't necessarily think it's very much needed with this kind of dark makeup, but I mean, why not? I'm going to try as many shades as possible, right? Obviously it needs blending, so I'm going to blend it out. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. Now I need to just clean this part. I'm going to use a little bit of this concealer and just kind of like a dense brush, and just clean whatever needs to be cleaned here. So I'm just going to, yeah, it's like literally correcting whatever is a little bit messy here, cleaning it out. Obviously, if you have like bigger chunks of like eyeshadow, it's just best to first kind of swipe it off with like a bigger brush, like a fluffier brush. But I just have a little bit of mess here, nothing really that needs some extra work. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so now I'm going to finish this eye with my eyeliner. As you can see, I actually did like a little wing here and added some black eyeliner in my waterline. And obviously I'm going to add some mascara, and then we're going to continue testing other products. Okay guys, so this is my eye makeup done. It's time for my final thoughts about this palette. So as with pretty much like all Pat McGrath palettes, the pigmentation here is crazy. If you want to create these kind of like bold looks, then this is your palette. The glitters are really beautiful. Like everything works really well here. You do have to be very comfortable with colors though, or you have to be willing to try working with colors, because this palette is not for faint-hearted, right? This is going to give you like proper punch of color. So yeah, as long as you like that, as long as you like this vibe, this should be fine. Also, if you are not really experienced with colors, I would maybe recommend some other pigmented but a little bit cheaper palettes to begin with. And when you just finally feel comfortable, then you can just maybe upgrade to Pat McGrath. But the Christmas palettes are quite budget friendly compared to other Pat McGrath palettes. It's still going to be around 60-70 pounds, so let's be honest, this is not a cheap palette, right? It's cheaper than some other ones, but it's still not cheap. Anyway, I'm actually happy with this palette. It definitely gives some beautiful makeup options. I'm not sure how this blue is going to work, as I didn't test it out. It didn't really swatch that great, but that's probably not the color I'm most excited about in this whole selection. I feel like there are so many other beautiful like colors here that I'm not really too bothered. I'm going to test it probably at some point and see. But to be honest, I can live without that one. Anyway, let's move on. Let's do the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. I'm going to change the light to a little bit lighter. I think it's going to be better for the highlighter thing. I kind of dimmed it slightly so that you can see the colors of the eyeshadow palette a little bit better. But for now, I think the brighter light setting will work better. So this is our highlighter. This is how it looks. And let's have a look at the shade. I haven't tested it yet, so I'm super excited. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? This is a really pretty shade. They do have like quite a few of those. I was really torn between like few of them, but then I was like, you know, I do have like champagne-y shades. I do have like golden shades. I don't think I have anything in this kind of like a pinkish tone. So hopefully it's going to look quite nicely. I'm just going to swatch it for you first. So there you go. And this is the shade. As you can see, it does have some like pink undertone to it, so that is actually really exciting. So I'm going to use this brush over here, and this is Spectrum B08. Some of them actually have like numbers still on them, some of them don't, so that's why I find it so difficult to say what brushes I'm actually using. So let's try it out. I'm actually super excited. As you can, I don't know if you can tell, but I actually added some blush and some bronzer already, so that, you know, this actually can complement my look. Oh, that is actually really pretty. It's like a very kind of gentle glow. It shouldn't really be too sparkly to use when you have like textured skin. Yeah, it doesn't really seem to kind of enlarge my pores or anything like that, so that is actually really pretty. And it gives you this kind of like a proper glow. So I'm just going to apply this over my brow bones here. Here. My cupid bow here. And obviously on the other side of my face as well. Yeah, it's not going to be enhancing the texture too much, even though it's quite sparkly, so that is pretty. A little bit here. Yeah, I really like it. And it's also, do you know, I love the fact that it actually has this kind of slightly pinkish hue to it. I don't think I have anything like that in particular. It's very, very pretty. Obviously, we're not going to leave it like that. We have to blend it with like everything else, because nothing looks good unless it's blended. So yeah, I really like it. It has this kind of like a very subtle glow to it. It's beautiful, and the shade is actually really pretty too. So yeah, I'm actually quite happy with this purchase as well. Okay, so the last product we're going to try out is this Benefit brow product. This is Fluff Up Brow Wax. Okay, so this is how it looks. So this apparently gives you 12-hour wear. It's waterproof. 93% say it easily feathers brows. Interesting. So let's try it out. I haven't really done anything with my brows yet. I thought that I would just use this one first, and then if I need some more kind of color, I'm just going to fill it up later on. So this is the brush here, and let's try. So you should just apparently just brush it up, just fluff up your brows, and it does lift my brows like quite visibly. Okay. I'm not really a massive fan of these like proper kind of like brows that, you know, they almost look like you got electrocuted or something, but I definitely can see that you can get that result here if you like it. So I'm just going to brush them up like crazy for now, just to show you. I don't know if you can see, but that's not the look I would go for, but I could do that. If I wanted to, I could do that. I could just literally leave them like that. I'm just going to brush them up now, and then I'm going to kind of like style them the way I want to, because I don't really want them to be like full on, you know, electrocuted. That's actually crazy. They literally are standing like almost vertical. So if that's the look like you're going for, I'm sure you can achieve it. Like, look at that. That is crazy. I'm not going to keep it like that. I don't really mind fluffed up brows, but I kind of want them to be like more natural. So I'm just like going to put them like up and outwards a little bit so that they are natural, but not necessarily, you know, all like standing up. So that they look natural, not like I got electrocuted. So there's that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other brow. So yeah, that definitely did what it promised. If you like this proper feathery brow look, then you can achieve it with that for sure. And if you just want to add more volume to your brows, you can just do what I did and brush your eyebrows like up and out slightly, and kind of like adjust this kind of featheriness to what is best for you. But this brow wax definitely seems to have quite a strong hold to it, so that might be actually something that will stay in my kind of like makeup kit. It is quite interesting, and it does seem to work the way it's supposed to, so that's good. Okay guys, so this is everything from me today. What do you think about the products I tested? Have you tried any of these? Are you maybe thinking of buying any of those? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to know your thoughts as usual. Thank you very much for watching. For more makeup related videos, check those videos over here. I'm going to see you very soon. Take care. Bye.